안녕하세요. 제 이름은 나미입니다. Hi, it's Nami. Welcome to Call NAMIICHO Live. This is a interview type, also a fan line open series that we do live here on this channel. We do have a guest today, and it is pop artist Anja KOTAR. She is joining in all the way from the States. She is a artist who writes silly, fun songs that have a really cute vibe to them. She is really amazing, talented musician. She can play the piano, and her vocals are deliciously decolent, is that even a word? I see her laughing in the little preview. So without further ado, let's bring on Anya and ask her a lot of different questions based on her career and her goals as well.
Hi!
Hello, hello.
I was listening to you say all these beautiful, kind things. That is so generous and sweet of you. So thank you so much. I could say all that right back at you. You're
Oh,
fantastic.
thank you.
So glad that we got to connect over the internet like this.
Yes. So thank you so much, first of all, for joining
Of
this
course.
podcast interview. And we'll just say hi to everyone who is joining live right now. We have some people saying hello. And I'm super excited for today's session because we're going to be talking about Anya's music videos and her singles that have won awards as well. Currently, she has her latest track, Movie. It's a catchy song coming up from her Songs from Isolation series. And I love this series because she started this series in 2020 where, everyone was in lockdown and she was just writing. She was just grinding it, and her lyrics are so relatable as well because I feel like a lot of us have gone through similar emotions during the pandemic, and she just puts this into her music, and expresses it um, in her awesome kind of upbeat, but like poppy. I don't know. It kind of gives me like super silly but casual, but like also meaningful vibes.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. I would have described it the same way. So that's cool. It's really awesome that translates to someone. I didn't pitch this to you at all or anything like this, and the fact that you pick up those same
Right.
vibes that I have in my head when I'm writing, that's awesome.
Oh, that's so cool. So can you tell us actually how you got started in music and where your journey with your relationship and your passion in creating music started?
Totally. So I was actually born and raised in Europe, in a very small country called Slovenia. It's shaped like a chicken. No lie. You can look it up on a map. It's a chicken. It's right next to Italy, so Italy's the boot, and we're the chicken. And we have only 2 million people living there. So from a very young age, my parents noticed that I loved music, and as cliche as this sounds, I really did. I don't remember a time that I wanted to do anything else but music, and I was always like always running around the house, like I'm gonna be a singer, and everyone was like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
And so my parents helped me out a lot when I was young. So they put me in music school. So I started as a classical pianist in Europe. There weren't really opportunities a lot to do pop music or to sing in
Right.
Slovenia. So sort of classical piano was the route for me in the beginning. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I did a lot with that. It was fantastic. I did a lot of competition stuff like that. So it was very formal European. But I always knew that singing was where I wanted to end up. I just didn't really have a chance to dive into that while living there. But when I was 14, so that's now almost, yeah, it's 9 years ago, my family moved here to San Jose in California. My brother and my parents, we packed everything and we moved here. And it was really, I think this is where sort of everything started coming together for me. I did dance and classical music back
Right.
in Slovenia. And then here I started going to a conservatory high school where I was able to start getting involved
Ah,
with musical theater and
wow.
jazz. And so it was like as if like everything that I've like learned in my classes are like coming together to this like perfect merge.
Right.
And so, yeah, and then I wrote my first song more of out of necessity than anything else. I had a little piano that I had from Europe, but it was traveling behind us in a container. So the first few months that we moved here, we actually lived in like a little long-term hotel. And so we didn't really have anything. And so all of our belongings were still traveling behind us. And so I didn't have any of my sheet music. I didn't have my piano. So I went to a practice room at the high school / conservatory that I was at. And I just started playing around the piano piece because I didn't have anything else to play. And that's how I wrote my first song. And then I was like, all right, okay, this could work. Let's write more. And so that's how that sort of started. And then I was able to do a Kickstarter campaign for my music when I was in high school. And I was able to record sort of my first album that way in LA at Universal. And that was sort of how everything got started. And then after high school, I had sort of to make the decision between, going out to college and music. And because I come from a very classical education background, I sort of didn't want to not get that, education. So I had the opportunity to actually study online with Berklee College of Music while also do music and travel that way. So like I was doing, I don't know, school in the morning, then the afternoon I was going to
Wow, that sounds crazy.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was great. I was able to finish my master's that way also with Berklee. And it was actually so enriching. And I'm so grateful that I was able to do this because it's, you learn about something in the morning, then you get to actually put it into practice a few hours later. Fantastic for me. And it was a great way for me to keep building my career while also, getting that education that I wanted. And so that's how that was happening. And then, COVID started and you kind of touched on that before, but I moved back home with my parents here in San Jose. And I'm very proactive. Like I have to have everything planned out. I have to do something. Otherwise I go crazy. And so the same thing happened there. I was like, all right, okay, I'm stuck in this house now, but I'm going to lose my mind if I don't do something. So I started writing so much music that I was like, all right, okay, let's put together an EP called Songs from Isolation, where it's sort of like a diary of life in this past year. And then I've been putting out the album by singles, so like something happens, then I wrote a song about it, and then the song comes out. And then it's sort of like, I feel like every song corresponds to like a period over this past year. Like the first confusing. Then we were like, all right, okay, we got to make the most of it. Then it started to get frustrating. And I feel like all the songs in the album sort of like are parallel to the emotions we were going, or at least I was going through over the past year. So I'm finishing that up right now. And I'm just grateful that I'm able to do this, to have the support of my parents and to still be able to do this now in quarantine, really, because all the music videos, everything since COVID started, we've been actually filming here at home in my backyard. So that's been a huge learning experience for me too, because like, my mom will operate the camera or my dad and we'll like have a light bouncer. My brother will help out. So it's all DIY. But it's made us, I think, even closer than ever. So it's been really, really, I'm very thankful that we get to do it this way.
Wow, that's amazing. I actually wanted to ask you a little bit more about your music videos and the process that it takes, because I know because of the lockdowns and everything, it's really hard to create productions. So we can actually pull up on the screen one of your music videos here to watch together. This is your
I had no idea you could do that.
I know, it's so cool. So this is like the way that YouTube formulates this new podcast medium or like type of live stream video. You can actually pull up videos to watch together, and even up to, I think up to 4 people can join a single live stream like this, and they just join in like a call. But the best part is that we get to talk to fans and receive call-ins. So we're gonna do that later on in this episode. But I can just pull this up and we can take a look at this really amazingly she's shy. And like there's a lot of like dance and aesthetics in this music video. I love how you just came up with everything, and I know that you see also like a dance instructor, so wanted to ask you a little bit more about that as well. Let's pull this up.
That is so cool.
So pretty. The flowers. Just need a happy ever after. The angles.
Guess this was kind of fun when it all started going down. Walking around in PJs, nap on the couch, watching TV all day and spending time inside the house.
It must have been hard to even get up those flowers on that wall.
So this whole set was I don't know in feet, but it was 5 by 2 meters. I think it was around 10 by 12 feet in our backyard,
Wow.
basically. And so we had to, me and my dad built this construction out of basically wooden sticks to hold up this whole thing. And so
Wow.
then everything else was bought on Amazon. This couch is actually from our living room. But like the green paneling in the back, those are like small, like 1 by 1 meter squares of like fake grass that you buy on Amazon.
Yeah.
Pull them on 1 by 1 on the wall.
Wow.
Over 50 of them that we have to like.
What?
Yeah. It was, so that was all paneling. And then this one shot. So it was me lying on the floor, so it was shot upside down. And this was all also like fake grass that we bought on Amazon and like rolled out in our backyard.
Wow.
And then
All
the
for a music video. The effort.
Yeah, we went full out with this one. The flowers in the wall we actually bought at Michael's. Me and my mom went and bought them at Michael's, and they were sort of sold in like little bouquets. So we would like cut them up and then
Right.
inside of the wall. Initially, we were gonna have them on the floor, but then when we started filming, we realized that there was a lot of walking that I had to do, and you wouldn't really see them as much. So instead, we went and put it all in the background to make the background blue.
Wow. And I love how you have everything like kind of a blue toned like nature aesthetic. Tatiana says it gives fairy vibes here in the chat, and
Yes,
Estelle says, "Oh,
that
she's
is
so
it.
pretty."
So yeah, I like to correspond, especially on this album. We've been corresponding every song with a specific flower and a corresponding color.
Oh wow.
So this one, it was, and so every flower that we're corresponding it with has
Right.
some sort of a meaning responding to the song. So this one is with Forget Me Nots, which are sort of like the remembrance of this time, of this crazy time of living inside of a movie. And then we have the blue color,
Right.
and also corresponded with the cover of the single. So on the cover of the single, I'm wearing that same dress. I'm wearing, it's on that couch, and it's the same Forget Me Nots that then are in the throughout the movie, throughout the video, and that flower crown. So all the flower crowns, all of that, we all make it home with my parents. Even for previous videos, we go to Michael's and buy just fake flowers, and then we have some clear headbands that we then wrap things around. And this one has
Right.
like in the back satin ribbon. So that's all stuff that we have. So it's definitely been a learning curve. You know, I started with this whole sort of like a more magical floral aesthetic a couple years ago in 2019 when I released basically my first single, like proper single. And so the whole idea was to create this balance between reality and surreality, you know, and I like to use clear foam that I have a lot because in videos and visuals too, because I like to, in all my music, I try to incorporate some sort of a technology and how it impacts our generation, you know, in different ways. And it's been different, especially now during COVID as well.
Yes.
But coming here from Silicon Valley, I feel like that's such a thing that I'm very much exposed to and I see a lot of, and I think it's very pertaining to our generation. And so it's sort of like that phone, that those clean modern lines are the reality. And then we add in the florals and, you know, the fairy dresses, which is sort of the surreality and, you know, the places we take ourselves to in our minds. And so that's sort of the overarching idea. And then we try to carry that and execute it in a different way with every music video that we do. And so it was the same with this one. I like to keep, you know, we have like some sort of pieces of furniture in the song because those are supposed to be the reality, you know, the in, you know, the couch is white, all of that. But then you have all these surreal, almost fairy elements like that grass background. And
even the way that like the angles.
Right, yeah, exactly. And those are sort of the things, you know, the places you take yourself to, especially now during quarantine, to try and get through this time. So it's sort of like constant, this balance between modern, but also sort of fairy tale.
That's so amazing. And what's the process like for coming up with, you know, that choreography? Because it's very like, sorry, I was gonna say it's very it plays into those vibes as well. It's very elegant but also modern. You have those like lines, the clean lines in your leg movement as well.
I love that you noticed that. You're amazing, Nami. This is absolutely magical. This is like the most enjoyable conversation ever. Seriously, you have no idea how much I appreciate it. But yeah, all of the credits for choreography go to Tori Evans. So I started working with her on that first series of singles that I did a couple of years ago. So the first one that she choreographed with my videos was called Frame. And sort of we've been developing this vibe together. She's absolutely, she's actually that I went to. She lives in LA. She's magical. She like dances with Ricky Martin. She dances on The Masked Singer. So she's way too big to be working with me, but she is extremely kind. And so all of the moves and everything, that is all credited to her. I usually just, for this video especially, it was very tricky because we had to shoot each scene 3 times because the movie is supposed to be going in a loop. So the inspiration for this specific video was Westworld, season 1 of Westworld. I'm not sure if you or people on here have watched it, but it's this whole, there's a main character, she's wearing a blue dress. So the blue dress in this video is sort of a nod to that. But her name's Dolores. She's basically a robot, and she goes through the same day over and over and over again.
Oh
it's literally
my gosh.
And then with every repetition, she starts to get aware of the fact that she's
right.
Day. And so
I
that's
love
sort of
movies like that, like time travel
exactly.
type.
Totally, yeah. So that's sort of where the inspiration for this video is going through. So she goes through 4 rooms in the house, right? The music video is then shot in 4 rooms, and then it's the same choreography in each of the rooms, but she gets more and more aware of what's happening, and like the moves start getting sharper and shorter. And so that was the idea here. So what Tori had to do, the choreographer, was make choreography to something that would at one point in the video would be to some music, and at the other point would be to a different kind of music, and it also had to work with being fast. So it was super tricky for this one to do. So she's absolutely fantastic for coming up with this. I can't take any credit. I just sit there and I just do what she tells me to do.
Well, you definitely do it well, because it's not easy to, get those clean, crisp lines, especially like with those fast movements. What has been your relationship with dance and like creating music? Because like both of them are performing arts, but I'm sure like at one point.
So I actually, pretty much simultaneous as I started playing piano back in Slovenia, I also started going to dance school. That's what my mom put me in. And so those were like my 2 main things.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's why you're so good.
I know. But like it was a big part of me. It was a very competitive sort of dance company that I was with. Like we would go to competitions, like world championships and stuff like that. So it was very rigorous. So that and piano were like pretty intense. And then the last couple of years when we were there, I started doing a little bit of ballet as well, which is I think a lot of the moves that now are incorporated in this choreography, the soft lines, sort of more balletic stuff. I think that's definitely something that's in here. But it's been so helpful to have that background in dance. Just even with taking photos for press or like for Instagram, whatever, it's so important to like have some sort of moves to like know how to position your body, to not look. And so I feel like it's just been something that has been so incredibly useful, in
like
ways that
practical.
Exactly, so practical, and it's easier. Like even if you don't have choreography for a video, at least you know how to like make yourself look to not be awkward, So it's been definitely super useful and helpful to have that background.
Right, that's awesome. Honestly, like I've always wanted to get into music and dance, but I never was able to do it until like becoming an adult myself. And then a lot of people, they feel like, is it too late to get started, or like how do you pass that awkward phase? So do you like meet people who also have this kind of mindset, and what would you say to them if they wanted to like get into a little bit of songwriting or vocal training, or even like get into ballet as well?
Well, here I think it's the same way as me trying to approach something else. It's like me trying out cooking during quarantine or something like that. I think in life, the true pleasure of life is being able to take advantage of those little moments and to sort of live it for yourself, not for other people. I mean, there's a ton of music that I've done in the past that I would now listen back to, be like, oh my God, what were you thinking? But it's part of the learning process, and I think the beauty in life is doing the things that we enjoy. And if that is songwriting, then absolutely go for it. And with all those things that you mentioned, whether it's songwriting, ballet, all of these things are things that you just have to go out and do, and accept there's a learning curve. And like literally, I hate this it's kind of an awkward parallel, but it's like me trying out chocolate chip cookies. I made like 4 or 5 batches and they all absolutely sucked, but I kept going,
I relate.
Exactly. Like I didn't know what I was doing, but eventually you learn. And I think in general, with a point of view that I have, is that it's never too late to do anything in life. And I think those are all of these sort of societal barriers that we put on ourselves. We're like, oh, you shouldn't wear this and this color together. You shouldn't wear short skirts if you're past this age, all that stuff. But this is all stuff that I think that we put up ourselves in our heads. There's nothing to justify those things. And it's same with like doing whatever you please whenever you want to, and I think I've been very lucky to be surrounded by people who support this mentality,
Yeah.
So I never ashamed, if you will, for feeling this way. Like a couple of years ago, I had super short hair, I had like a pixie, but I was able to go through that phase of creativity because I had people who supported that around me. And I think as long as we surround ourselves with people in a community that supports being yourself and doing your life to anything you want.
Yeah, that's amazing. I totally concur, and I think that's an amazing way to think because often people they doubt themselves or they doubt their circumstances, but honestly the best thing to do it is to just do it. And I like how you refer to like baking because I actually started cooking only during quarantine, and at first I was like burning my food, cutting my fingers. It was not professional. It was not professional, and I think we should accept the fact that it's gonna be like that, and also like cherish the moments that we're in at the time, even when there's like things we want to do or places we want to go. I remember Tuscany, and I really related to this track because it basically goes over the desire and the passion to want to travel, but not being able to, especially during lockdowns. Because I had so many travel plans for 2020, and I believe like a lot of us did. Like looking at the memes, everyone's like, oh, 2020 was supposed to be our year. 2020 was the year we're gonna see the world, but COVID said no. So
thank you.
we could actually watch the video together.
So funnily enough, you bring this up. This was the first video that we did in quarantine. That was the first video we set up. So it was super. I remember we were all so nervous. We had no idea it was going to go play out, and because all these videos we shot on my iPhone. Like we don't have any professional equipment, if you will. So
you're lying.
These are all iPhone videos. Even movie, that's all from my phone. So it's very, and this one was the first one, so we had no idea how the light would look. I mean, I'm very lucky that previous to this, I got to work with who is now one of my best friends, incredible creative director, photographer that I met back in Slovenia. And so we've been working together for years now. And so actually every time that I come up with this plan for a video, I send it to him and I'm like, all right, okay, how do I execute this? What do I need? What do I have to be careful of? And then he's always like, all right, okay, you have to have the light this way. You have to make sure the sun is there. You have to make sure the angles are that. And so,
no wonder it looks amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have to point out that it's no coincidence that it doesn't look terrible because I'm surrounded by such incredible people who help me out. So it's by no means like I do such a tiny little percentage of what you see. It's all thanks to these other incredible people. So, and it's also, I'm extremely lucky that I got to experience like a real music video set before COVID started. So I kind of had an idea of how things had to work, what the process was, how you had to have the soundtrack set up, like the costumes, all of that. So I did have that background. I didn't go into, like, this wasn't the first music video I've ever done. I think if that was the case, it would have looked terrible.
Well, it helps so much to have that, like, direction. Exactly. Let's take a look at it because, honestly, I want everyone to see how, like, I wouldn't have even guessed this was filmed with a phone. Crazy.
So this was once again all in our background. We put up like these little strings.
In the backyard.
Yeah. And we put up strings that these sheets are like hanging off of. And actually, the fact that the sheets are waving like this was a complete mistake because they came a lot smaller than we thought they were going to be. So initially we thought it was going to be one yellow background. It's going to cover everything. And then and I was like,
I love that the movement.
It turned out great. Now
like a happy accident.
Yeah, exactly. It was a complete happy accident. We're like, we have to fix this. Like, and then we ended up. My mom actually had the idea of putting them up like this. So they kind of look like you're drying laundry. And then it was very windy that day, and it turned out perfectly. So this is all
beautiful. Yeah. Wow, I love that.
Riding on a Vespa in a sunflower field, yeah. Warm wind blowing and birds are singing in cypress trees. Tuscany, pick up the laptop to join a work call. I don't think it really
Again, with that same like fairy but realistic,
Yeah, and this
surreal
all
balance.
furniture was all from our house. This was all like something from our office. Like this is all,
I
this
mean,
little-
that's what you call resourceful.
Yeah, right. This little painting of like the Lysol thing. I was like, because the song mentions paintings, I was like, wouldn't it be funny if like she was drawing like some sort of like a cleaning thing because it's COVID and she's cleaning all the time. And this is actually
Yeah.
from my dad. My dad actually took like the
Your
Lysol.
dad painted.
Yeah, my dad painted this. He like took like the Lysol bottle, like and basically drew it on that thing, and then I was just pretending to paint
Wow.
for the video. That morning, he was like, "All right, okay, I got this. Let's do it." And then like the lemon tart is from Trader Joe's. This is all the flower crown again was made at home. We bought some fake lemons off of Amazon and flowers. And put it all together. So it's all basically stuff that we already had at home, and then we just put it together in a video.
Wow. And Michael says beautiful, so creative. Zemzem says so cute. Sylvia
guys
says
are so
absolutely
nice.
gorgeous. Anchor says love.
So you
I
can
mean-
see here, it started to get so windy. I was like going in my house. I was like, oh no, God, I keep it working.
But it
And
adds to it. Like, I love
It's
how the
really-
wind is
yeah.
blowing.
It looks great. When I was editing, I was like, all right, okay, this looks gonna work.
So you edit all of these music videos yourself as well? Oh my god.
Yeah. I used to. Well, this all started in quarantine, really. Before my best friend director Yanni, he
Right.
would do all of this. But now,
Right.
you know, I already have this footage. There's so much data, you know, so many gigabytes. I'm not going to like transfer this to you online. And I also knew better what we had shot, you know, because it was there in person and he wasn't. So I had a better idea of what takes were good and which ones weren't. So after that, again, it was like one of those things that I just had to learn. I was editing videos before, like for YouTube and stuff like that, little vlogs, but not like a music video. And so that was the first one that I actually edited myself. And then I edited all of the ones since, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. It looks amazing, first of all. And the fact that so many clips, like you don't just have one clip running for so long. Like it takes so much to edit a video, let alone a music video. I believe everyone would like to applaud you for doing this, and everyone who has helped you as well in terms of like putting together all of the concepts and direction. It looks amazing, but like something that really stood out to me in this music video is your skin. Honestly, like it's glowing. How do you do that? Because honestly, all of your like photos on Instagram as well, you've got that sun-kissed, glowing skin, not even glowing, glowing skin. Like, can you tell us a little bit about your skincare routine? Like, how do you get your skin to look so good?
Oh my gosh, you are too nice. This is actually, I have 100% my mom to thank. So when I was in high school, it's funny, I do so much less to my face than I used to in high school. So I have like acne prone skin, so there's stuff that I have to cover up. But in high school, I would like use so much foundation. I would use like
acne prone skin.
Oh no, absolutely. No, I've
Look at
learned
it.
how to cover it up well. That's what I'm gonna say. I've learned how to cover it up well. So basically, I would like use like all of these powder, contour, all of that stuff, and I would throw it all on there. It was very cakey. And then I actually watched a video by Melissa Eldridge. I don't know if you know her, but Lisa Eldridge. She's like this fantastic British makeup artist, and she does makeup for film too. And so and I think this video specifically changed my complete perception on makeup.
Right.
And she was like, use only basically no powder-based ingredients. So everything that I have, everything's like everything is gel creamy. Exactly, they're all creamy. Nothing that I use on my face really is powder. Like blush, contour, everything that if I do, I never use powder.
Wow.
And the second thing is, I actually don't use foundation. I use like the CC cream that basically evens out your skin tone. It matches your skin tone. And then if I do have something I need to cover up, I'll do like a little bit of concealer in my eyes.
Concealer.
Yeah. And then for my little pimples, if I have, I use a little bit of a Laura Mercier setting powder. And I just like dip my finger in it and like dry the pimple out that way. And then just cover it up a little bit with the concealer. And that's it. So instead of covering up my whole face, and that's what I learned from that video from Lisa, she was like, if you need to cover something up, don't feel like you have to cover up your whole face. Just do like that one, and that sort of gives you
The
that like.
one spot concealing. Yeah.
And then the glowy thing I think comes from my secret ingredient is secret is this $4 oil from Trader Joe's. It's like this,
What?
it's like this orange bottle. I think it's called vitamin E oil.
Oh, wow.
It's
So
giant. You
simple.
get so much for your price. And I basically use like I put on like
Run to
moisturizer.
Trader Joe's.
Yeah, exactly. I do my moisturizer, my eye cream, and then I plop that thing over, and it's like it just looks like you are glowing. And then in order to not try that out, I just use like creamy products over that. And so that's really it. I love for cream blushes. I love anything by Milk Makeup. I literally have their whole like every range of their blush that they have. I have it at home. And then for contour and highlight, Fenty Beauty. She has these little stick highlighters.
I love her highlighters.
Absolutely amazing. And I like most of the stuff that I use my fingers for. I just use a brush for my eyes, and I just like maybe throw on some like bronzer or something. But other than that, I just do everything with my fingers because it's so much easier. Because I feel like you really get to warm up the product in your hand and get to work it in, so that it looks like it's part of your skin.
It looks like your skin looks amazing, and it looks like you're glowing and like actually blushing from the inside because there's no like blotchiness, there's no cakiness.
The magical beauty tools.
our natural
exactly.
Our natural tools. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, because I think for sure when you're looking for more natural and glowy makeup, if you use powder, it's gonna start like sticking together.
Yeah, and it's like after time, it's gonna start with very, very, very hydrating and like rich creams and stuff like that. So this is a lot of the stuff that I learned from my mom too, and I think part of it is also, beauty trends have changed since I've been in high school. It's only been like 5 years, but still, I feel like that was like peak Kardashian, like super contour. But now it's sort of more embraced.
Yes,
that you let some of your imperfections through, and I think this part of this whole look is embracing there's no such thing as
natural state.
You are perfect the way you are. Same thing. But and I think that's part of it too. If you want to go with that look, you also have to embrace your natural face, like not wanting to sort of like change it, but to just highlight all of the beautiful things on your face, if you will.
Right. And speaking of Kim Kardashian, and like going full out with our like events or like going clubbing or going partying. You made a track called House Party, and it's literally just about like staying at home and having a party by yourself.
That song honestly started as a joke because I'm so like I love meeting new people, all that stuff, but like as a person, I'm so introverted. Like I have maybe 2 or 3 really good friends, and I think part of that also comes from the fact that I'm so close with my family that I don't feel a need for a new friendship, if that makes sense. I know that I'll never be as close as I am to my family, and like and so I'm most creative when I'm by myself. All the songs that I've written have been just me and the piano. I don't do well with creativity like if there's other people around. I don't know how, but like that's just how I am, like I would absolutely prefer to spend a whole day alone and just like read and do things by myself, take walks, as opposed to like going out. And so that's just part of my personality, and I always felt a little bit bad about it because I was like, that is such like not a cool personality to have. And then one night I was home alone. I was like in my robe. I ordered a pizza, like a takeout DoorDash.
Oh my gosh.
I went to get that pizza. I had like chocolate raisins because I absolutely love chocolate raisins. And I was like on the couch. I was like going through Netflix trying to figure out what I was going to watch for the night. And as a joke, I do this a lot. I like sing little jingles like to accompany my day. And night I was like, I don't want to go out. I just want to stay at home. And then I kept scrolling through Instagram, and I was like, wear my favorite ropes at night. I'm partying alone. Yeah. I was like, wait a second, that could be an actual song. And so then I wrote this like anti-going out. And like I feel like it's my own anthem, It's like, it's cool if you don't want to go out. It's like totally chill. And then and this was all written and released before COVID. And then COVID happened, and I was like, oops.
It aged really well.
And so, that's sort of the story behind that song. It's literally just me hyping myself up for not feeling bad for not wanting to go out.
That's how it should be. Yeah, we shouldn't beat ourselves up over like not wanting to engage sometimes too. And I think if you have enough of those like emotionally supportive roles and relationships in your life, like it's okay to kind of distance yourself from like unnecessary burden of like
Absolutely.
the social. So
No,
I
and
can
I think,
actually,
yeah, and I think what I appreciate about, and I think this is probably something that a lot of us experienced over the past year and have learned. I myself have, to really focus on our personal growth and to sort of, and I think with being at home, one thing that I really learned was that, life truly is what you make it. Even if on the surface you're not, like what you mentioned before, like you're not exactly where you thought you would be in life at this point, or if you're not doing what you want, but like there's so many absolutely beautiful things that happen every single day. I don't know, the sun is really beautiful today, and then I love the sound of the birds that I can hear right now, and I think that's then where the purpose of life really lies. And I think you don't get a lot of those things if you just like constantly like go out and like go partying, all that. Like I feel like growth happens in these like quiet places when you get to be with yourself and you get to really appreciate life for what it is in like its most simple form, if you will. Sorry, I'm getting like all philosophical now. Sorry.
no, I love it. Honestly, can you see I'm tearing up?
Oh
I'm actually tearing up because
my gosh.
like it's so inspirational, and even like the heart that you put into all of your music is extremely full of passion. And the fact that you have these messages that you also want to convey to you. Oh my gosh, I'm like, well, I'm actually crying.
Right
It
now.
just like really speaks to me, and I think like you're doing such great work, and definitely everyone should support Anya's music and her like amazing songwriting, but she makes it in like a really silly and fun manner with such a meaningful message. And I'm gonna actually pull up the music video for House Party.
So this one was made professionally. This is not a COVID video. This was by Yanni, the photographer, my best
Right.
friend, and this was actually shot in Slovenia, in my home country. It's this like little botanical garden.
Really?
Yeah, and we
Wow.
shot this all in a span of 2 hours because of the light. So we had to like really hurry up. So I brought these outfits from here. We built them here at home with my parents, and I put them on a suitcase and traveled to Slovenia by myself. I stayed in Yanni's apartment for the time that I was there.
Wow.
And then we put that in this botanical garden in Slovenia.
I'm not looking at my phone. Won't text back, pick up your call. If you wanna hit me up, well I don't really care. 'Cause I'm having a house party, not staying up till morning. Sleep then I watch a movie. I do what I want, yeah, I do what I want. 'Cause I'm having a house party, and no one else can join me. Just
Annabelle here says, so true. Whoa, so pretty.
Oh, you are
Like the flowers, the Sylvia says the yellow, love it. Was it also like with your directing team, like coming up with the aesthetics for this music video as well?
so I style all of these videos. That's like the general idea of what I want to happen, and everything usually I come up with. And then we talk with Yanni through it, and then like finalize it. But all the outfits, and this one, both dresses are made from independent designers that I found with Instagram and things. And I love using independent designers because I think that it's basically a mutually beneficial relationship. They give me these beautiful dresses, and I get to showcase their incredible talent. But the butterflies that you see in this dress were actually hand put in by my dad.
Wow. By your dad?
Yeah, the
Yo,
dress.
man's is talented.
Oh no! The dress with the feathers, and it didn't have the headband. The headband we used some extra feathers from the dress, but the butterflies are actually attached to these little metal strings. We bought fake butterflies on Amazon, and then he would like sew them through the dress and like fold them in on the inside. So the inside of this dress is actually full of like tape, so that the metal strings wouldn't scratch me.
Wow.
Super delicate to put on, but yes, these are all hand attached butterflies. I had this idea from a Moschino runway. We did like this giant butterfly dress, and this was sort of like a take on that. And the same with the floral dress. This whole floral thing with all the flowers were sewn
Yeah.
on. And the dress actually came super short. So me and my mom went to, I think it was Joann's, and we bought extra fabric in that color. And she actually sewed 2 more layers to the dress.
Wow.
And like, And so yeah, and then we did this whole arrangement with the flowers. I had to actually put on the flowers by themselves. It was like almost like a bralette that had like straps on it, and then I would put the dress over it, so it kind of looked like it was blooming from the dress.
That's crazy.
These were, and it was so hot the day we were filming this. I could just remember like we started dancing, and I could just feel like sweat like dripping down the dress.
Oh my gosh.
And then at one time, one of the flowers fell off, and then we had to like attach it back on with a pin.
While you're like rushing before the sunset?
Well, yeah, exactly, for the light. Yeah, that's the one. But I think I handle all the camera work in the direction because on sets like this, not during COVID, but normally, all I have to think about is like what I'm gonna do so I don't look stupid. But now that we're doing COVID, it's like I have to like go back and look at the footage. Like, okay, this is good. The light isn't good. Like, and it's like so many other like roles that you're playing at the same time, which makes the videos a lot more stressful. But at the same time, we have the luxury of filming at home, so we get to take more time with it. We can do it like instead of all having to do in 1 day, like in 3 days or 4 days, whatever, depending on how much we get done. But that's easier that way.
Wow. So kind of like from this music video and the filming from the music video, you've taken these elements that you've been able to apply to your own self-filmed music videos as well.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
It really gives the same vibes. Like it looks amazing, and the crew did such an amazing job. And then you can take those elements and make your own like quarantine music videos. We have some comments from Heyo. Heyo says, I love all the floral aesthetics. OMG. And Annabelle says, groovy. I love it. Welcome, by the way, Heyo and Taco. I love the butterfly crown.
Yes. That one was made by my mom and my dad. We basically took a clear headband that we can just buy them at Ninja.
They're amazing.
They really are. And I think this was actually like maybe the third or fourth video that we had done flower crowns by ourselves. So we've always done these flower crowns at home, because with the first video that I had the idea of doing this, we researched it. I was like, where can I buy this? And we couldn't buy it anywhere. And I was like, okay, I guess we're making them ourselves. And so since then, we've basically become like a flower crown factory. We like already at home, and now we have like a little styrofoam head that we put the headband on, and so we like build it on that, so we see how it's gonna look on my head eventually. But yeah, that flower crown was just we asked the designer to send in some extra feathers, the they used, and so we
to incorporate. Wow.
And then the same metal butterflies that we use in the dress, we also put on the headband. And the good thing is I archive all of these things, so I have like these giant boxes of IKEA, like in some here in my bedroom and some in my and so they're all like almost like sealed really well. The flower crowns are all like wrapped in paper to make sure.
I was gonna say you should,
because and it's been so much work, that we spent into it. And the good thing is I get to reuse it like for either future promo shots or for like literally we're just taking press shots a couple days ago for my next single, and we used like a bunch of flower crowns for previous videos, which is so great because you get to like style them differently. You put on a different dress, and no one can tell really, because it's so you can completely change the way they look. But it's been great to have like sort of a treasure trove, if you will, of these outfits to put on and flower crowns to decorate yourself with.
Taco says they're really pretty. Honestly, like I noticed some of the same aesthetics Anja has on her Instagram filters. So you can go to her Instagram and look at the filter tab and actually use her flower crowns on your like photos.
Heck yes. Yes.
And what was the process in making those filters? Like what gave you the idea to create Instagram filters, and like how did you go through actually creating them?
So that was actually, I cannot take credit for that at all, because it was, I worked with a marketing team. They're from the UK. The company's called Burstimo, and so they also have an internal designer, like a UI designer. And she was actually like, "How do you feel about creating some Instagram filters?" And she came up with these ideas. And she was like, we did Tuscany and another song, and she was like, how do you feel about like, I don't know, incorporating some sunflowers in this? And basically this was all her incredible work. The flower crown, all of that stuff. We basically talked beforehand. We were like, okay, we definitely want it flowery. We want it like very airy. I didn't want any filters that would change people's features because that's a huge pet peeve of mine. I absolutely like I and even for when I use filters on my Instagram stories, I'm always super, super careful to try and not use anything. Like I always double check, like whenever I try to use a new filter, I like see my face without the filter, then I put the filter on. I'm like, okay, is my face still the same? All right, then I'm gonna use it.
Yeah.
I don't like the ones that
The
like I don't know,
distorted, yeah.
your mouth, smaller nose, whatever.
Like Barbie face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it when it looks like me. And so that was like a huge important thing that we wanted to use for these filters too. Like not, but
That's
maybe
what I
just good.
noticed too. Like I still look like myself, but cute.
Right, yeah, right. Like we just did like a little bit of blush, and I think it's like a darker red lipstick that goes
Yeah,
with it.
yeah, yeah.
So that's something that's very close to my heart and important to me. So I'm extremely grateful that she did that. So it's all her work. I just looked at it and I was like, oh my God, amazing. Yes, let's publish it. That's all I did. That was my involvement in that.
I mean, like all throughout this stream, you've been so humble, like giving credit to the people who have like contributed. But honestly, like if it wasn't for you, all of this wouldn't be possible. And I think it's amazing that, you're creating not just music, but like this art and this kind of a community of mindset, as well as like just like it's just an Instagram filter, but so much thought went into this. And you say like, oh, it was all her and everything, but even the aesthetics, like it comes from music videos.
I mean, I have been extremely lucky to be surrounded by so many incredible people who have taught me, and I think I'm very aware that, especially now that like things are moving in the right direction for me musically and career-wise, you see that, you really nothing would be possible without other people around you. And even just the things that I know, I have other people to credit for, there's so many people that I encountered along my journey, people who have so graciously taken time and like believed in me enough to like tutor me, to teach me, mentor me, all of those things. And it almost feels like a responsibility, that you're carrying all of these people's hopes too, that you're like, I need to carry on and sort of
like pay it forward. Yeah,
exactly, too, because I know that I would not have been anywhere if it wasn't for so many incredible people. And I want to make sure that, and I think that's something too that often not bothers me, but it's another pet peeve. We'll call it a pet peeve of mine. Is I think especially from a listener perspective, oftentimes you get the vibe that the artist writes everything themselves, everything just magically comes together. Artist. And something that I really, really want to like refocus the direction on is all of these incredible people that work in the background, and maybe they're not on the cover of the photo, or maybe they're not in the music video, or they're not in the Instagram photo, but even the songs, the movie Tuscany, all these songs that we listen to, they would be nothing without the producers and mixers behind it. What I have is like I have a piano demo, or maybe I have me singing over, I don't know, a YouTube track. But what happens from there on out, like the final product that you hear, is not at all thanks to me. It's thanks to these other people that I go to with like ambiguous ideas, and I say, oh, it needs to be blah 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 blah, but then they take the blah 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 into something specific and literal and music, and I think that's something that isn't necessarily talked about a lot in music. You just get the vibe that things just happen, and I think there's so many really thousands of jobs that sort of are erased from the public mind when consuming this stuff. So I think it's important to remember, and I think because of this, you also have the pressure of young artists or young whatever people feeling that they have to do everything themselves because it wasn't taught to them and shown to them that it really isn't all you at all, And I think it needs to change in mentality. And maybe that's something too that comes from me living here in Silicon Valley and seeing how collaborative the tech industry is. I have a younger brother and he works in tech, and everything is like open sourced. Ideas are shared so freely, there's no sense of ownership, if you will. It's like, I'm going to do this for the good of the research that we're creating. And I think that's something that is often missing in music and I think it's also because it's a very
competitive. Yeah,
it's an industry based on image, very much so. And because of that, you feel the obligation to present yourself as if this is you, and you feel this tension with other people because you're like, oh, but they're going to steal this instead of just, making music, if you will. And so I'm very grateful that I've been able to meet people who also believe in this power of music and power of collaboration. And I think, and really at the end of the day, the product is just better if more people worked on it. Like it's
great minds. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like I can say whatever I want, but if I would be doing it myself just for the sake of ego or whatever, it would have looked terrible. It just selfishly so. It really does look better when there's more people working on it. And I think that's
So
something
true.
that, especially young people coming up in this industry, need to understand and need to know that it's not going to happen because of you. Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen because of the people who help you along the way. But then also because of the people who actually take the time and listen to your music, because
Yes.
I can sing in the shower all I want. I can produce songs all I want. But if there's no one to listen to them, it's nothing,
Yeah.
So it's really, I think, important to have, to understand that everything you are and everything you do would not have existed if it was not for so many other people.
So true.
Sorry, I keep rambling. You have to
No,
stop it.
I love it. I love it. I'm just absorbing. I'm basking in the Anja. It's amazing. So for everyone who is joining us right now, don't worry for coming in late. We actually haven't opened the fan line yet where you can call into the stream and speak to us over the phone. I will be in the description, there is the phone number. It's my phone number to join this live stream. And there will be the number on the screen later on when we do open the phone line. But Sylvia says, girl, you rock. Love it. Woo!
Oh, no, you guys are so sweet.
But welcome, first of all. We are speaking today with Anja KOTAR, and she's a pop artist who writes really amazing music based on her experiences and just her thoughts in a really cute, silly way, but also super aesthetic and really nice. So let's actually watch another one of her music videos here. I'm gonna pull it up. This one also, you filmed it in the forest.
Oh, this
with
was
the
another
backdrop?
one done in Slovenia.
Wow.
With the director. Yeah, so this was all in Slovenia.
And how long does it take to fly to Slovenia?
It's basically the same as Europe. It's about a 9-hour flight, 9
Okay.
hours. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And usually you can't fly directly into it, so you'll go to Amsterdam or Paris and then fly to Slovenia. So it's a two flight situation.
I see. And you filmed this before
This was actually the day before house parties. So these were all done in the same trip to Slovenia. So this in the video.
So efficient.
Yeah, we did it all in once. And so the hairdresser here was also, she's absolutely incredible. Because house party was a day later, she put all these extensions in, so I had long hair.
Wow.
And here we had just bleached it and cut it, and she actually put in these tiny little tinsels.
Wow.
To give it kind of like modern. Yeah, so these were actually, they were attached like extensions. She basically taped them into my hair. So we got that futuristic feel, and then same with the clear phone that I was talking about before. So we have that background of the forest, magical. The nails have the handcrafted flowers on them. The nail artist, I got them done here in California, and it's actually the same flowers that are then in the house party music video with the flowers and the yellow dress. Those are the same nails, and then it's again that combination of modern but also fairy tale.
Right. And that dress is so long and beautiful.
Is it
the same?
Yeah, it's like a robe that we got on Amazon. It was actually $50 on Amazon.
What?
And then, we actually didn't do anything to this outfit. This is all same as it is. The bikini it's actually a swimsuit that I got off of sale, I think, and it was on sale, so I got it super cheap. But I like it because it has this iridescent, very modern feel, and then the robe was very classic, very magical, and it was that juxtaposition that I really liked.
Beautiful.
And so we just took them out of the bag and put them on me.
Looks amazing though.
Paper to data and data to glory. Up in the cloud they are saving my story. Paper to data and data to glory. Adding the lines to my digital diary. Paper to data and data to glory. Up in the cloud they are saving my story. Paper to data and data to glory. Adding the lines to my digital diary.
even before you started your series for songs in isolation, you've kind of been already journaling your experiences, your feelings, and kind of like putting it into your digital diary.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that song definitely. Well, I'm so glad. Like I said before, you're incredible for like picking up on all these things. Just sitting here and listen to you talk because like how incredible you are. Seriously, but yes, you're absolutely right. I think with the first single that I properly released that way, like it was 2019. Yeah, so it was like a year and a half ago. The first like real single that came out, and
Right.
my direction for that was to make pop music, but to make to sort of do unique takes on everyday feelings and everyday things, because one thing that lyrics are super important to me, and I always want my lyrics to be, or I try that the lyrics are in some way have some sort of a unique twist, like with House Party, like when you hear House Party you think it's going to be a song about partying in a house, or like like being with your friends, but then it takes on a completely different turn. And so that's something that I really try to do with all of my songs, and
Right.
yeah, that's kind of like the main idea that we started. And I think it's been very cool to be able to continue that and see that sort of initial idea evolve and change over time, even with visuals. It's been a huge challenge to continue to create stuff that looks within that same vibe, but to also not be repetitive and to like constantly have something.
Yeah.
It's been something that's been really creatively challenging for me, but I love it. I get to learn so much through it, so it's been awesome.
It's amazing how you just create all that and still make it a new piece each time. And your track Alone Together has also been featured on Vivo's Pure Pop. It was the track right before your latest release movie, and also in the playlist Feeling Blue, as well as on Apple and Amazon TV. So, what is the kind of the platform or the streaming service that gives you the most support, or you find is the most helpful for fans to stream by or stream on?
I think honestly, Spotify and YouTube. I mean, YouTube/Vivo, but Spotify has been huge, especially with Tuscany. I wrote that song. It's very acoustic, as an
It's
acoustic.
actually my favorite song.
The story behind that one is really funny because I almost didn't release it because I was like, this is so different than my previous songs. It's like
Oh
so much more.
no.
And it's the song that really started the whole Songs from Isolation vibe, because
Yes,
it's been a much
exactly.
more like acoustic-y direction in the past year. And I was really, even my producer said, he was like, "Are you really gonna release this? Like, this is so different." And I didn't think anyone was gonna listen to it. I was like, okay, whatever. It's quarantine. Like, I really like the song. It reminds me of home. It reminds me of, because like we lived so close to Italy. Italy's right next to Slovenia, and like to me, it was very like sort of like almost like remembering like growing up in Europe. And it was special to me. And I was like, okay, I don't care if this gets like 5 streams, whatever. I like it so much. I just want to put it out there. And now it's been my most streamed song ever. And it's been such a huge surprise. And I think it also
Wow.
really shows, in a way, the magic of music. It's that at the end of the day, if you believe in something, then other people are going to pick up on it, if you will. Like, when something it works, you feel it. And when it comes from the
Yeah.
heart, I think it resonates with people, as opposed to, and I think it was a big lesson for me too, is like before I always tried to write stuff that I thought other people would like, be like, how do I make this other people like this? And like Tuscany, all the other songs after have really been like, how do I make music that, I would enjoy as a listener and that bring me joy? And it's been really, really, really gratifying to see that is working, and that people are liking this kind of music, and
Hmm.
adding it to their playlist or whatever. It's just been absolutely mind-blowing to me, because nothing like that has ever happened with any of my other songs. So I'm like just like in awe looking at it, like seeing the streams, or like people use it on TikTok or whatever, and I'm just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
what's happening? So it's
That's
crazy. It's
amazing.
extremely humbling too, really.
Wow. That's great. I love that you can also include your songs in like Instagram stories. And like does that help as well with like because it's linked to Spotify, right?
So the thing that helps the most is like people using it in their reels or in their
Oh
TikToks,
yeah.
because, or in general, I appreciate it if someone uses it and credits it. You know, that to me is like, I don't care how you use it, whatever you use it, like, because really it's
Use
honestly
Anya's songs.
no, it's just, I mean, it's just so unfathomable, really, to see something that, you know, I wrote in my living room, and now it's like soundtracking someone else's life, like a person that I've never met.
Yeah.
Is like, I don't know, different race, different age, comes from a different background, different country. We wouldn't probably even understand each other. We wouldn't even know the language. And yet that same song is now like accompanying a moment that happened in their lives. And I think it's such a
Yeah.
magical, really surreal thing with
Mhm.
music. Is that now we share this like tiny little piece of like of mosaics of our lives. It's just because we both heard this song in one moment, you know, and it's just so, it's kind of crazy. That's what it gets me really like fascinated with music, and gets makes me want to make more, really.
Yes, that's awesome. So we do actually have the phone line, the fan line open right now. If you'd like to join onto this live stream and chat with us through the phone, you can call 334-438-1438, and you'll actually be brought on to this live stream to talk directly with Anya and I. And while we're waiting, can you actually show us some basic kind of vocal training techniques that you like to use to warm up or kind of practice?
So
And then,
something that I still do sometimes in my if I have time, I do like substitute teaching for voice lessons or for piano lessons.
oh, nice.
That I love, like one of my favorite ones, very easy one, is just if you say ma 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 and you go ma 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 ma. It's super
Mama.
basic. Yeah, literally just that. You go up and down the scale, 5 notes, and then the higher you go, you can go ga ga ga, because it'll help you with your
Oh, okay.
and so that's like one of the most basic ones that I use. A lot of people do like little trills, the brrrr,
Right.
I'm not a fan of those. Never liked them. It just not a big fan. Another one that it's kind of a little bit more tricky is you say I know, I know, I know. Those are the lyrics, but you go you go I know, I know, I know, I know. And then you keep going up. I know, I know, I know, I know. That's kind of like something that you do.
But
You
can you
just
keep going a little? Blessing our ears right now with your beautiful voice.
but yeah, that's another one. What else? Let me think. All of the other ones are very, very complicated, but I think honestly, if you're beginning to sing, one of the biggest advices I would have is to just try it. Or the way I actually didn't take, let me backtrack. I actually didn't take voice lessons until I was like 19, 20, and I only took them for a year. So,
Wow.
yeah, I
What?
actually didn't. Yeah, I didn't. Voice lessons weren't a huge part. Like the way
Well,
I
you were
learned,
just talented. You're just talented.
not at all, not at all. But I
You're
always
so talented.
when I did my like exams for classical music for classical piano school when I was like 6,
Okay.
they actually almost didn't take me because they said I had a really bad pitch. I could not hit the right note. Like they would play one note for me and I would sing a completely different note. They were like, "Oh my God, should we even take this kid? She's like, she doesn't know music." But I loved singing around the house. It was terrible, but I kept singing and I kept telling people I was going to be a singer, even though I sounded terrible. And even my mom was like, "Oh, are you sure?" Oh my God. And then I don't know what happened, but when I was like 11, 12, it just came together. And I think it's because I listened to so much music by, training piano, and it's sort of like
Ah,
trained
it
in the ear.
ingrained into your,
I think so.
yes.
And what I also did a lot is I had grown up during the time that High School Musical came out, like all the movies, and I would, or like Christina Aguilera, all of that, and I would literally play their songs on loop and like pause them every 2 seconds and then go back, and I would like learn, like all like that's how I learned riffing. Is I would take Christina Aguilera songs, like do and then I would like go again and then again and then again, and I would just like try and learn that way, and that's basically how I learned to sing. So even like Adele was huge at the time that I was growing up, like someone
Yes.
like all of that, and I would just go and play those songs and learn that way. And I think that gave me sort of like a foundation of what I understood pop singing to be. And then off of that, I was able to sort of like craft my own style, if you will. But at that time, like at one point, I like wanted to sound completely like Jessie J. And if like I listened to my earlier stuff, like my voice like was trying to do this Jessie J thing. But like I think learning all these different techniques and like learning
Yeah.
how other people actually gave me like a great sort of palette of things to be able to then choose from once I started
Right.
growing older, and, like, figuring out what my style was. But so yeah, this is all to say, if you want to sing, I think one of the biggest advices that I would give you is just to learn how other people sing. You know, I don't know, don't pick like a Dangerous Woman or Ariana Grande. Pick something, pick something simple. But I'm saying, like, hearing how other people sing and learning that way by ear is actually hugely beneficial. So, and then the voice lessons really just sort of honed in my technique a little bit. But other than that, the singing was, it was like self-taught voice lessons. Like every day after school, I would like practice piano. Then I would run to
Wow.
my room and just like play these songs on my computer and like learn that way.
That's amazing. Can you give us a
So yeah.
little preview of like a track that you're working on now?
I'm
Ooh,
very
sneak peek. Ah,
we just finished it.
oh,
And
wow.
yeah,
Already
it's coming
though. You're
out, I
like
can tell
pushing
you.
out music like crazy.
I'm trying to. I really am. I'm trying to do like once a month I do a video, the next month I do a single, and then like to sort of go out. So to have something exciting new every month.
Yeah.
But this one is coming out end of June, and I can sing you the chorus.
I'm ready.
But
I'm
like it
ready.
was acapella. Is that okay if it's just an acapella chorus?
Yes, of course. I mean, if
Okay,
it's
I don't want
okay for
to.
you to just
Oh no, totally. I just don't
give
want to
us
look
a
like an
sneak
asshole, just
peek.
like singing in her bedroom. All right. So it's a love song. So let's go. So I know that there will come a day, it could be snowing or I find myself caught in the rain. I look into the crowd, so many faces, but a single one will stand out. Heart skipping a beat, 1, 2, 4, and 3. Then suddenly call me crazy, but I think you might be the one for me.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Does this tell us at all if there's something
Mm.
going on?
Is there a Mr. Anja Kotar? No, but I think Anja Kotar definitely is fantasizing about it. I think, especially in quarantine, like I've been watching so many romantic comedies and like all these
Yes.
stories, and I'm a huge romantic too. And I think it's part of the fact that my parents' story is like so romantic and perfect. And I'm like, I'm not going to settle for anything less. Like I'm not into the whole hookup culture, none of that. Like I'm like, when I date, like this is gonna be it, okay? So and I think that romantic point of view, like that's probably also why my visuals look like that, because I'm a huge romantic. I almost feel
Yeah.
like I'm like providing a soundtrack to the musical that is my life. So I think most of it always like dressing up whenever. So this song really is just like me dreaming about like a perfect scenario of being someone. But I'm really excited about this one. It has like this really nice like acoustic guitar on it. I like to think of it as like a 2021 like Disney princess song. So I'm very excited about it.
Wow, amazing. I also have the links to your website and your YouTube channels, Spotify, and other platforms down below. Because Sylvia's asking, where can I watch these videos? I love them. Anya, can you explain like where they can find your content and what kind of content that you specifically put out, and where you like to upload it or post it?
Totally. So all of the new music is on Spotify. If you just search my name, Anja Kotar, they'll all be on Spotify. Same with YouTube. Basically all of the songs that I have on my Spotify also have a corresponding music video on YouTube. So you can like delve into the story more or like visualize it. And then I post a lot of like unreleased song demos and stuff on my TikTok. My TikTok is also same, just my name. And same with my Instagram. I post a lot of like actually, a lot of these songs, especially the songs from Isolation, have been songs that like people on Instagram or TikTok have like voted on releasing, because I wrote a lot, and whenever I write, I like to just like share it and see what people think.
Yeah.
And so usually the same day that I'll write something, I'll put it on my Instagram story. And then the selection really of this album was made by the listeners, the songs that resonated to them the most
Wow.
are now being released, which is exciting for me too, because at the end of the day, this music is for others. Like I mentioned before, like I could just write for myself and nothing would ever happen. So it really feels like, I think that's maybe it also feels like it captures a more united feeling, as opposed to just something
Right.
that was difficult to me because the songs that did have more of a united, common message are the songs that are now being released because people felt like they resonated with them. And so it really feels almost like a group project, this album. Like it feels like something we've done in collaboration together. And it's funny that it happened during a time when we really could not be together, you know? So I think it's a really nice nod to how life has been in the past year.
Wow, that's amazing. Now we are running close to the end of the stream. This is going to be your last chance to speak on this live stream with myself and with Anja. You can call the fan line that is open right now. Just use your regular phone number or your regular phone to call this number, 334-438-1438. It is a US number, so you can just call with any phone and it will link you to this live stream where you can talk to us directly. You can call in and just say hi, or let Anja know something that you liked about her music videos in particular. And while we are wrapping up the stream, waiting for the fan line, I guess we could read some of the chat here. Mother Punkton says, I'm here. Hey, Anja, we have another Anja in the chat. Anja says, hey, so unusual. She says, so unusual seeing someone with the same name as me.
Hi, Anja! Yes.
Have you met any? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's so funny because in Europe it was a very common name and everyone knew how to pronounce it. But once I moved here, it was like everyone was like, oh my God, that's so unique. And I was not used to that because it was like a pretty basic name in Slovenia.
Right.
Like, so many Anjas. And then here, people would pronounce it Anja. So for a while, I thought I should start writing it with a Y.
Right.
I was like, no. We're going to keep our like European heritage. I'm like, no, I'm going to tell people that it's Anja.
Good. As you should, queen.
Anja.
As you should.
Yes, fine. But again, it's funny because in Europe, it was like such a common name. And here, all of a sudden, it's like unique.
Actually, a fun fact about your name, in my like personal experience, I was reading a manga, like a Japanese comic, of this spy family. So basically, this little girl, she can read minds, and her name is Anja, and her father is an assassin. But her mother's assassin, but her father's a spy. So she's like adopted into this fake family because she has to like the father has to have a fake family for his spyhood. So I actually, in my mind, I was pronouncing her name Anja because that's like the first way I knew to like phonetically pronounce. But then because there were like Japanese writing, that's how I knew it was pronounced as Anja, because the Japanese writing would not have that J sound.
That is so interesting. Oh, wow. That's crazy.
It's a really fun story. If anyone wanted to read, it's called Spy Family or like Spy X Family or something like that. And the main character, her name is Anja. I think she also has blonde hair. You really
sold me on this story. This sounds awesome. Are you kidding me? Honestly.
It's really cute. It's like a kind of like slice of life, like comedy, but also like familial. Yeah.
It's fun.
A little bit of romance between the mom and dad. Yeah.
My dad is a spy. My name is Anja.
Anja. Oh, and then there's also a dog. They adopt a dog who can see the future. So she can see the future through the dog's mind read. Like she can read the dog's mind. It's so cool.
I love it. Are you kidding me?
It's really fun.
That's so awesome.
Okay, great. Let's actually wrap up watching another one of Anja's new, not new, but like another one of her amazing music videos. I'm gonna pull it up here. First of all, skin again with the skin.
This one was also attacking us. We like went around these beautiful locations in the Bay Area. And we filmed this in October. And this is like one of my favorite beaches. I have so many incredible memories from this beach growing up just in high school. And the idea of this video is we have this chair from IKEA, which is supposed to be like the grounding, like the reality part of the video. That's like you're stuck at home. And then went to these beautiful locations, sort of symbolize the fact that you can make your time at home beautiful. And we took these beautiful locations. You can, as simple as it is, there's beauty in the simplicity. So that's the
It's
idea.
simple, yeah.
But it has the chair in all the locations. So I like give you like this is where she is at home, but then in her head, this
So
is what
beautiful.
Have a pillow fight, grilled cheese in our bed, and then look at stars and eyes, keep it simple. Disconnect the telephone, rip up all the calendars, cancel every plan, catch up on The Bachelor. We'll still laugh again. The day we kept it simple. Always used to worry, always in a hurry. Let all of the
Different shots as well here with
this was
the
different
pumpkin
locations. And so this was done over, I think, 4 days because we had to go to different locations at different times.
Wow.
And so one of them was actually done at a pumpkin patch. This is like very close to our house, but it's like my incredible local pumpkin patch here in San Jose. And I actually called the owner. I was like, yo, can we film here? I love how it looks. And she let us come in the morning before people came in to shoot at this beautiful barn. And then also that cornfield and the sunflower field is this right here is at the same pumpkin patch. And so she drove us to the back when people were already going to the patch. It was Halloween, and we were filming the back there. It was the most magical experience.
Yeah. So pretty. And the weather must have been so beautiful because
it was in October, and October here in California it was super warm, so it was actually hot. And it looks like very fallish, but I was so hot.
You were hot?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing because by the beach there, you were in a little swimsuit, really
beautiful.
Right?
It's tiny little.
Yeah, I would be sad for you if it was actually cold because I know sometimes music videos incorporating a lot of water ends up actually being extremely cold experience.
Yeah. No, we were very, very fortunate with the weather here. Extremely fortunate.
Disconnect the telephone, rip up all the calendars, cancel every plan, catch up on The Bachelor. We'll still laugh again. Let's just keep it. I wanna keep it. Yeah, let's just keep it simple. Let's just keep it. I wanna keep it. Yeah, let's just keep it simple.
So beautiful. Vern says beautiful video. Is this also edited and filmed with your phone?
Yeah. This was filmed by my dad, and then I filmed this I edited it in kind of Final Cut. And this was actually probably one of the harder ones to edit because we had so much footage, and it turned out
amazing though.
It did, but I think something that I learned after doing this video is that it's good to have an idea of how you want the final edits to look before you go in. Now, with the last Alone Together video and movie videos, and
a storyboard,
much more specific idea of how I want to edit because then the filming is so much more efficient. Whereas here, we basically shot everything, every location. We just did a content dump pretty much. We took every location had a close up. It had close up with lip sync, without lip syncing. Then had a wide angle without lip syncing, choreography, and it was a lot of content that I realized after I was editing. I was all right, okay, so we don't need that much. I just need to know how I want it to go because had I known initially exactly what I wanted, if I knew that the orange dress would come in until the second verse. Then we were filming. I could have just started singing at the second verse and
from there. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that was a huge learning experience for me after this one. I was all right, okay, well, you need to know more before you start.
You learned from your own song to keep it simple.
Yeah. It was funny. My mom, when we were filming this, we went to this forest, we were climbing to get to the location, and my mom was like, "Wow, great! The song that's simple is going to be the song that's going to be the most difficult to film." Good job.
I mean, you gotta have a balance somewhere, right?
It looks simple and cutesy, but it was not simple to film at all.
I mean, just all those cuts too. I was gonna say it looked like so much time and energy went into it, and then all these location shots. It really it pays off, but like it looks amazing, and then it also, you know, how much effort would have gone into making that video. So Sylvia says, I could hear your voice all day. Woohoo!
Oh,
Speaking
Sylvia,
of woohoo, Anya has a song called Woo. You can check it out also on her YouTube channel and her Instagram, her TikTok, her Spotify. It was
everything.
such, on everything. It was such a pleasure to have you, Anya, on
Thank
this
you.
episode of our podcast. And is there any way you would, you know, like I have all the links in the description, but anything that your fans do that you really really appreciate? I know you mentioned about like using your songs on their reels or on Instagram or their TikToks on TikTok app. But if we can support you in any additional way and support your music, what would be the best way? Stream
Honestly,
Anya, stream Anya, Kota.
I do have to say that literally any sort of engagement, you know, whether that is you listen to the song once on Spotify or if you watch the video, it's like there's not, this already is so much more than I ever would have hoped for. So anything whatsoever. And honestly, if it brings you joy, that is like the greatest compliment ever. So
Yeah.
it just means so much. And I thank you to you, Nami, too, for having me here today. I
Oh,
absolutely love you.
it was
I
my
love
honor.
everything you create, the sort of the positivity and like the messages that you translate through your content, through your videos with your
Oh,
family.
thank
It's just,
you.
and I'm just very grateful that we get to know each other this way.
Yes.
And for having me today here, seriously, it's been such a huge pleasure. So I can't thank you enough.
Oh, thank you so much. It was so nice to chat with you and to chat with all of the fans here and the viewers in the comments. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this episode and for listening in and watching the videos with us. Please support Anya's music. When can we expect your newest, your next track?
June 25th, exactly
June
3 weeks from
Oh,
today.
this month.
Yes.
Wow. So go and follow her Instagram, subscribe to her YouTube page, and await her next drop. Great. Thank you so much again. And I hope everyone has a great rest of the day. And I hope you enjoy some sun today as well, Anya.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Bye bye. Bye, everyone.